Strange facts from history. You probably didn't learn in school. Probably. Number 1. Albert Einstein was offered the role of Israel's second president in 1952, but declined. Albert Einstein was one of the greatest minds of the last century, who created the world-famous equation E = mc2 that explains the energy released in the atomic bomb. Einstein is also known for his discovery of the photoelectric effect, for which he won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. But did you know that the renowned physicist was once offered the presidency of Israel? According to Newsweek, in 1952, Israel's first president Chaim Weizmann described Einstein as the greatest Jew alive. When Weizmann died a few months later, the Embassy of Israel offered Einstein the presidency. However, despite the honor bestowed upon him, Einstein respectfully declined the offer. In a letter addressed to Ben-Gurion, he expressed his gratitude but cited his lack of political experience and qualifications for the role. Einstein, known for his humility and dedication to scientific pursuits, felt that his expertise lay elsewhere. "I lack both the natural aptitude and the experience to deal properly with people." Number 2. Napoleon was once attacked by rabbits. Napoleon was at the peak of his power in 1807 after signing the treaties of Tilsit, ending the war between the French Empire and Imperial Russia. He decided to hold a rabbit hunt to celebrate the historic event. The commander's chief of staff, Alexandre Berthier, oversaw the hunt. He acquired over 3,000 rabbits from local farmers, enabling Napoleon and others in his party to have plenty of bunnies at their disposal for the festivities. Little did Napoleon know that the tables would turn on him and his guests. Berthier was not particularly knowledgeable about rabbits, and when the cages, set on the edges of a huge field, opened, the animals bombarded Napoleon and the others in the vicinity. These domesticated floofy-eared mammals were not scared of humans and believed it was feeding time, so the throng of rabbits ran towards Napoleon and his men, searching for tasty morsels. According to historian David Chandler, thousands of bunnies strategically divided into two parts, flanking the French leader and his guests, demonstrating a finer understanding of Napoleonic strategy than most of his generals. Number 3. Ronald Reagan was a lifeguard during high school and saved 77 people's lives. 40th American President Ronald Reagan's first job involved working as a lifeguard at the Rock River in Lowell Park in 1927. Over the course of 6 summers, he saved 77 lives, a number he kept track of by cutting a notch in a log on the river's edge each time he pulled someone in need out of the water. Number 4. The D in D-Day technically does not mean anything. In the military, D-Day is the day on which a combat attack or operation is to be initiated. The terms D-Day and H-Hour are used for the day and hour on which a combat attack or operation is to be initiated. Basically, D-Day is just the day on which a combat attack or operation is to be initiated. Number 5. England's King George I was actually German. George I was the ruler of Hanover in North Germany, and later also the King of Great Britain and Ireland from 1660 to 1727. George would have hardly troubled the pages of our history books had it not been for the horrible medical history of Queen Anne of Great Britain, who died in 1714 with no surviving children, despite having endured 17 pregnancies. Her death left Britain kingless, and Parliament had to look around for a relation of Anne's to take her place. Inconveniently, many of her nearest relatives were Catholic, so they eventually alighted upon the Protestant line of the electors of Hanover. Georg Ludwig was the grandson of King James I, and therefore had some royal blood, so he was invited over to become King of Britain. Unfortunately, as his English was weak, he could hardly understand his coronation service. Age 54, the new King George was not entirely delighted to have become a king. A shy, retiring man, his gossipy and somewhat xenophobic new courtiers spread evil rumors about their new German boss. Number 6. The Great Fire of London in 1666 only killed 8 people. The Great Fire of London in 1666 was arguably the greatest tragedy of its time. Remarkably, just 6 people were officially recorded to have lost their lives, but the Great Fire rendered almost 85% of London's population homeless. The fire started at a baker's shop on Pudding Lane and burned for almost 5 days, destroying over 13,000 tightly packed wooden houses, 87 churches, and the iconic landmark, St. Paul's Cathedral. Number 7. Lord Byron kept a pet bear in his college dorm room. Romantic poet Lord Byron is known for many controversies and beautiful verses, but a little-known fact about him is that he had a pet bear. He was born in 1788 and was constantly bucking norms throughout his entire life. He had a tumultuous life from a very troubled childhood to being a literary icon by age 20. He was a lifelong animal lover and kept countless dogs and cats throughout his troubled childhood. He even dabbled in exotic animals throughout his life like a monkey, a fox, peacocks, badgers, and a crocodile. He attended Trinity College in Cambridge between 1805 and 1808, where dogs were not allowed on school grounds. Lord Byron was upset because he desperately wanted a dog to join him. As stated previously, Byron had a lot of pets, so he decided to rebel by finding a cheeky loophole. That loophole? Bringing a tamed pet bear to the campus. There was no explicit rule barring bears at Trinity College, so Byron argued with college officials that he had every legal right to bring the bear. They actually agreed. Number 8. Kim Jong-il wrote 6 operas. Kim Jong-il, the late dear leader of the People's Republic of Korea, wrote 6 operas in 2 years. Not only that, according to one version of his official biography, they are all better than any in the history of music. Number 9. The Anglo-Zanzibar War of 1896 is the shortest war on record, lasting an exhausting 38 minutes. The Anglo-Zanzibar War was a military conflict fought between the United Kingdom and the Sultanate of Zanzibar on the 27th of August, 1896. The conflict lasted between 38 and 45 minutes, marking it as the shortest recorded war in history. Number 10. Technically, the first president of the United States was not George Washington. Before the United States had the Constitution, which established the executive, judicial, and legislative branches of government, they had the Articles of Confederation. Under this legislation, the central authority of the United States was the Second Continental Congress. John Hanson was the first politician elected as president of the Continental Congress, a largely administrative role. Several other men held the title of president before George Washington's election in 1789. It is important to note that this topic is under debate by scholars and historians.